Warning to investors, the new pump and dump. Hello, everybody. This is StockerFinance. I'm your host, David Scheuer, twitter.com/StockerFinance for more. Also, I have a new newsletter. Definitely check that out. The link is in the description. Going to be doing analyst reports, market condition reports, etc. So definitely go subscribe to that if you want that. Just going to be a 1 monthly email. So definitely subscribe to that if you're interested in. So anyways, pumping and dumping. Well, pumping and dumping, it's not the sexual slang. What it is, that one that we're talking about, is a form of securities fraud that involves artificially inflating the price of an owned stock through false and misleading positive statements. And that's in order to sell the cheaply purchased stock at a higher price. Once the operators of the scheme dump, aka sell, their overvalued shares, the price falls and investors lose their money. This is most common with small cap cryptocurrencies that we'll talk about, and very small corporations called microcaps. This is also known as penny stocks. Now, in the old days, fraudsters, what they would do, they'd have their physical brokerage firm, and a lot of this is online now, is why I said their physical brokerage firm, with people sitting there taking calls from customers. So people would call in, say, hey, I want to purchase a stock of blah, 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 blah. They'd say, okay, and they'd make the transaction. That is how the brokerage firms used to work. Now we have Robinhood, Charles Schwab online, all these different ones, etc., etc. Now, in the Wolf of Wall Street, you actually saw a lot of this go down. So they were making sales calls. They're basically trying to push stocks. I'll talk about how that works in a second. And The Wolf of Wall Street is actually one of my favorite movies, but not for this reason. I think you can take a guess at why it might be one of my favorite movies. Anyways, how the pump and dump used to work goes like this. Number one, there'd be a brokerage center. Number two, they would find an asset, usually a small cap stock. Number three, they would purchase shares of the company. Number four, the firm would then tell its brokers to push that stock, aka they'd try to convince people to buy that stock. Say, hey, this company's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. You should definitely consider purchasing shares of it. I really think it's going to be awesome. So that's what they would do. They try to push that stock onto people. Number five, people would then purchase the shares because they trust their broker. They say, this guy knows what he's talking about. Seems like an awesome opportunity. That forces the price higher. Number six, the firm then exits their position from this overinflated asset. Number seven, the asset or the stock crashes and people begin to panic, causing it to crash further and further. Number eight, because due to that crash, everyone who thought this was a great company, well, they lose. This firm made a ton of money. The other people all lose out, losing tons of money because they thought this was the next big opportunity, when in reality, it was just some tiny company, or maybe it wasn't even what they were talking about at all. So people think that those days are over. At least a lot of people tend to think that. And that's just not true at all. In reality, it's actually easier than ever before due to the power of the internet. So take this very simple scenario as an example. Number one, we still have a firm, whether it's private equity, an individual, etc. Number two, they find a stock, an asset, whatever it might be, cryptocurrency, and they begin purchasing. Number three, instead of telling the brokers to push that stock, they actually go and buy ads on the internet, whether it's on Yahoo Finance, whether it's on going through Twitter. Bots are really popular on Twitter right now, setting up bots to spam social media, saying, buy this stock, buy this, whatever it is, this cryptocurrency, it's the next big thing. It's going to 1,000. And people begin to purchase it because they believe what they see. And maybe they don't do their own research. But again, you can't blame them when they're getting spammed. And people start purchasing even more due to the fear of missing out, aka FOMO. Number seven, the firm then exits its position, aka dumping the stock. Number eight, the asset value crashes and panic ensues, causing it to crash further and causing lots of people who thought this is the next big opportunity to lose tons of money. It's not a good situation for those naive investors. Now, I actually want to go through a scenario here because Yahoo Finance is really infamous for this. They have lots of ads promoting stocks. So this says the man who bought Netflix at $7.78 says, buy this now. All right, so let's click on that ad and let's find out where it takes us. Well, it takes us to this random article talking about Tilson, how it's going public because this guy and his team, they found out what's going to be the next big tech trend. Notice how they underline all the big moments. So they say the next big tech trend, tasks will change the way you eat, shop, work, and travel. Wow, this sounds crazy. It's like a huge opportunity. And this guy knows what he's talking about. He's, went up 4,800% on Netflix and 18,000% since he bought Apple and 4,000% since he bought Amazon. This guy really knows what he's talking about. I should listen to him about TAAS, TOS, or whatever this thing is. So we look into it a little more. You keep reading the article. They said the name and stock symbol of Tilson's favorite TAS investment, TAS investment, whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. They said no subscription email address or credit card required, whatever it is. Oh, they have a presentation for us. It's free right now. Okay, let's click and watch that presentation. Well, it takes us to just the classic scammer presentation. You have this huge button that says press play with a random presentation, a bunch of just fancy numbers saying stuff is going public. Oh, you got to watch this 60-minute, presentation on why this asset is going to be the next big thing. Well, I looked into what this TOS thing is. And well, it's actually, it's a terminated token. So it was a cryptocurrency as a service, and it's been completely terminated now. It's still somewhat in operation. It has a market cap of $6.8 million, circulating supply of 8 million, a max supply doesn't even say, volume of 762. Volume over the past 24 hours was also 762. So very, very, very low volume, which means it's going to be extremely easy to manipulate this asset. If we go ahead and look at it on Yahoo Finance, it was down 20% that day to 83 cents. So yeah, it's a very, very, very micro cryptocurrency here. 83 cents, down 20% today. That's pretty volatile. If we go ahead and look at its history, you can just already tell the classic pump and dump. Now, this is over 5 years, and my guess is they were trying to do this again, trying to get it. You can kind of tell that they were trying to get it going. Maybe it failed, people didn't buy into it, whatever it is, but they were obviously trying to pump it back up. Maybe they had a position too low, or they're just simply trying to do a classic pump and dump. That would be my guess. Now, that's just one example. And the next example, I'm going to put it Dogecoin here. And I'm not a hater of Dogecoin. I know it's super popular right now on the internet. It's a meme cryptocurrency. I think it's pretty hilarious, to be honest. It's called Dogecoin. Whatever it might be. You might be a huge fan of it. You might be skeptical. Whatever. Look at this chart. It's a clear pump and dump here. And I'm saying that because, well, on Twitter, there's so many bots, so many people just really trying to jam Dogecoin down people's throats. Look at this guy on WSB News, so Wall Street Bets News. He says 100,000 likes and I'm putting 100K into Dogecoin to help Dogecoin to get to $1. People saying, where can I buy more Dogecoin on Coinbase and Robinhood? Here's some more saying, can we rise to 10 cents today? Dogecoin, blah, 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 blah. People just keep pushing Dogecoin. How can I purchase more? Robinhood doesn't allow me. Imagine if Dogecoin went up to 30K, blah, blah, blah. So people are just trying to push this random cryptocurrency, essentially, this very small micro cryptocurrency. And what they're doing is try to pump it up so they can then dump it. They'll make tons of money because there's most likely a firm operating a bunch of bots, operating a bunch of ads, trying to get people, naive investors, to go ahead and purchase this asset in order to inflate it to absurd levels. Then they're going to exit their position. Then the asset's going to dump. And all those people who thought they were getting on the next big hype train or the next big cryptocurrency or the next big Bitcoin, whatever it might be, they thought they were going to make money and they ended up losing almost everything because it completely plummeted after that firm or person dumped it. So why am I telling you about this? Well, number one, there's really just one reason for this, and that's to warn the general public about these scams and these fraudulent individuals. So how to avoid and protect your investments against these? Well, number one, always do your own research. It's really important to do your own research. Perhaps someone recommends something and it's actually not a pump and dump. It could be a great opportunity, but if you don't do your own research, it could be a scam, it could be whatever, you don't know. If you do your own research on the company, and if you're wondering how to do your own research, well, I have tons of videos on this channel. There's also just tons of books, tons of content out there on the internet. You can become extremely educated on how to do your own research, how to do a fundamental analysis, etc., of different assets, of stocks, cryptocurrencies, whatever it may be. Number two, I highly suggest you ignore ads or too good to be true opportunities. If something says it's going to go up 1,000% the next day, most likely it's a complete scam. Don't do it. If they're placing ads to try to tell you to buy an asset, definitely don't buy it. Clearly, they have an alternate incentive because they're purchasing ads in order to profit somehow off of that. Not just placing an ad and not profiting off of that. There's no way. Number three, look into the account or person that is recommending securities. A lot of these people on Twitter, they'll say, hey, please buy this, and definitely Dogecoin, or this coin, or this specific tiny little micro stock, whatever it is. Well, usually those are just bots. And the reason I'm saying they're bots, and I'm not being a conspiracy theorist here, if you look at their accounts, usually if they are made very recently, so the account was created a few days ago, they've only been on Twitter for a few weeks or something like that, a few days, they have very little information on their account, they're using some random generic photo photo of some random other person. Maybe it's a dead person, maybe it's someone else, etc. Look into the account in person as we're recommending the securities and find out if it's actually a real person operating that account or if it seems like a very bot account. If you look at their messages and replies on Twitter, and if they are spamming the same message, just copy and paste to tons of different people on tons of different replies, most likely that is a bot doing that. It's really simple to do that, and it's a pretty common occurrence on Twitter. Number 4, the most easiest way to avoid and protect your investments is to simply only invest in solid companies. Guys, it's really easy to get great returns investing in solid companies. You do not need to go chase the little micro stock or this little blah, blah, blah. You can get great returns investing in solid companies that will not get pumped and dumped. Number 5, long-term mindset. Get the greed out of your system. If you're getting greedy, if you want to make $1 million tomorrow, the chances is that's not going to happen and you're going to end up losing more money than making. So take your money, get that long-term mindset, invest in solid companies, and just make sure to do your own research and be aware. Do not be too gullible or naive because that's going to get you in trouble, especially when dealing with investments and your own money. Anyways, thanks for watching. I know this is kind of more of a public service announcement compared to my normal videos. Please subscribe for more content. Got some great stuff coming out. Check out these videos as well. Twitter.com/StockerFinance. Definitely hit that follow button there. Got some awesome tweet battles going on. The newsletter link below. Please sign up for the newsletter. Got analyst reports. We got market conditions. Got tons of different things coming. It's just a once a month newsletter email that will come out with a big report. It's going to be awesome. So definitely subscribe to that. It's completely free. All it is your email. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.